Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Gift of Gaming podcast. We've got a Silksong Hollow Knight release date. We've got more information on the lawsuit with Crafton. And we've even got a Jak and Daxter possible reboot. All this and more on the Gift of Gaming podcast. What's up? It's me, your host, Darren Wade. Today I'm joined by the gamer formerly known as Mr. Xbox Games Pass himself, Luke Maycock.
What up?
And of course, the console-hating, PC-playing, retro-repping, lore-seeking, full-time Canadian himself, and possibly completely and utterly broken, Chris Robbins.
There's nothing possible about it. I'm fucking very broken right now.
How was your night last night, gentlemen?
Night was great. Morning is awful. So, yeah.
That's why you'll be hearing some sultry tones from our end. No, good. Had a great night.
Good.
A couple of the fellow pod people were there. Had a few interesting conversations about video games. Good night had.
That's all you need. We're very lucky to be here right now. I'll tell you a funny story.
Yeah, we are.
Well, I mean, aside of the miracle that Chris is here, we're lucky to be here in that I was working away yesterday on the Mac, just getting some more episodes uploaded to YouTube because it's a manual process and it's really fucking boring. But there I was tapping away, got up off the desk, came back to sit down for my cat to jump up onto the desk and knock over my full pint of water all over my laptop. Yeah. So I did nothing with it. I dried it off as quickly as I could, put it out in the balcony and was like, please hair dry and fix yourself. And I didn't look at it for hours. I just didn't want to know. I did not want to know. And it seems to be okay. I have to turn it off 3 times for it to turn off. And it gives me a warning message when I turn it back on to say it couldn't turn off properly. But aside from that, everything seems to be working.
I had the same thing happen to... it wasn't a cat, it was me. I had knocked water on my laptop and the keyboard has not worked since.
Shit.
Yeah, it's bad. It's very bad. I got to get it fixed.
Well, yeah, it depends on, like, if it's on, it's probably going to be fucked. But, like, I remember one time in my early days, my buddy had a PC and he couldn't afford the upgrades and, like, it was just having issues. So on a Hail Mary to, like, save it, he actually, like, took it all apart and, like, literally filled his, like, bathtub with water and washed every fucking part. I was like, oh, you're not supposed to do that. Like, that's electronic parts. He's like, it's turned off. There's no circuit. They're like, it's fine. I was like,
I don't know if that's how it works.
Yeah. No, it turns out it is how it works. Like, you know,
if you dry it properly.
Yeah, if you dry it properly.
Yeah.
Because that is the best way to clean it. But, like, I don't recommend it to anyone at home because, like, you also have to rip out the battery and make sure there's nothing like...
That's why you have air guns. You get air guns for cleaning laptops and components and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, he did all that, and he's just like, his last-ditch effort was just like...
and it fixed it?
Yeah, it started running better, yeah.
Nice. Because that's the only... Because the thing I'd heard was that, like, when something like that happens, never switch it off or on until you've dried it, because I think is the idea of it turning off or turning on.
Yeah, it's just a surge of electricity, and that's what fries everything.
So nothing important's been fried, but I was very lucky in that the moment I brought it back in and saw that it was still on and still seemed to be working, I plugged in my hard drive and backed up everything because I was like, this might not work forever. So it's a miracle. I still have my Mac, and that's another thing as well. It's a Mac, and if that had a broken my Mac, I would have been. They're not cheap. Do you know what I mean?
They're definitely not cheap, but they are built to like it's not like a phone where like they're built to die in a couple of years. Like Macs just last for so long.
Yeah.
I still have a 2013 Mac on the go. Amazing. Such a good laptop.
Yeah. Delighted. Chris, we were just chatting there. You are onto some Minecraft.
Yeah. So Kev from the podcast put us onto a video a few weeks ago about like, God, I can't remember the creator's name.
Ish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ish. Yeah. And he's just like, he did, I think it was 1,000 players to simulate like rich and poor civilization.
Yeah, and how they'd interact and stuff like that.
Just fantastic video, but like watching that, I was like, I could go for some Minecraft again.
Yeah. It got me wanting to play, but I know it's a whole owl.
I've been stuck in Minecraft. Is different now though. Like it is. Also, like my move used to be just like build a dirt home.
Yeah.
And then just dig down in the mines and start mining diamonds. Turns out there's some weird biomes down there now. Just like apparently there's this like new super monster, like the Warden.
Yeah.
Was like, yeah,
was that the
I
one
had to
that-
restart a world. Like I was just like, oh, I can't get by this guy. Like, it just,
Was that the monster that they showed in that video that came out?
Yeah,
And
the one
yeah. The rising lava.
Rising
yeah,
Lava.
that was
Yeah,
very
yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a good video. It got me hooked. My thing always with Minecraft is the first thing I do would be to locate a village. Like I'd explore the level as best I could, locate a village, cordon off the village, and then develop the village. That was my thing.
I jacked some villagers, and I put them like I have this automated like villager breeder. And like that just like funnels the kids into this little hole where I can like hit a minecart and then they come out and then they go into these little like 1x1 cells where they're like my slave traders. I went fucking
Christ.
yeah, I went nuts, man.
Never give this man power.
yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. I'd be a maniac.
Chris, like, what's the most efficient way to make this country run? You know, like
Chris
no
would be a
holds
very-
barred.
And not only that, like I also purposely infected them with
it's
like
always-
zombies,
Yeah.
and then you cure them, and because you cured them, they give you the best discount. Like they don't know that I was the one that infected them.
Wow.
Chris would be a very successful feudal lord in medieval times.
Luke, you said a game of Minecraft. What's the first thing you do?
The first thing I do is I kind of just find a biome that I like. Because if I start in a biome I don't like, I'm just not going to have fun.
Yeah. Do you have a preference?
It's actually usually just the OG one, just the like
Meadows.
meadows, the
Yeah.
plains,
Yeah.
the fields.
It's the only one to build a base in because everything else is dangerous as fuck. Man.
Forest is crazy. Snow is really annoying. Sand is actually okay. You can find some temples in sand.
Yeah, they're quite
places.
cool. Yeah.
But yeah, meadows usually is my go-to. What do you do?
No, it's a village. So wherever the village is, doesn't matter where, but it's a cordon off the village. Then I batten down all their houses to make sure that it's safe from. I just become like this protector. That's my jam. And it was really really cool. Was
lame.
that
It's lame. Yeah.
There are two wolves
It's funny.
inside of you.
I stole like because I like my base was right beside a village, and I stole everyone except for like there's what because you can give them jobs, right? You
Yeah.
build like a table or whatever. But there's only like there's one type of villager. It's called the nitwit. So I took everyone from the village but the nitwit, and every now and then I go back, and he's just like wandering around like by himself.
yeah. You and me would really struggle on a server. I'd have to keep the village that I found like secret from you, Chris. I don't think I could actually let you know.
Meanwhile, Chris has like a slave
I
colony.
wouldn't-
Yeah.
I would just need 2 to breed.
Just give me 2 of your people.
I just need 2 of them.
I'll trade you anything.
Luke, you finished Final Fantasy French to see,
Final
aka
French to see.
Expedition 33.
Yeah.
You enjoyed it, I'm assuming.
I loved it so much. It's lived rent free in my head since. I've had so many interesting conversations. Obviously, no spoilers, but the ending was so interesting, and having conversations with yourself and with some of the guys about it has been very fulfilling and very rewarding. And I just loved it. Beautiful game. Soundtrack's amazing. Story was fantastic. I actually wasn't expecting the story to be that good. I heard a lot of people say the story was great, and I'm like, oh, we'll see. Like, I don't know. But there was a couple of twists in there that just had my jaw on
The first major twist in that game, I was like, all right, we got a
got
story
some,
here. Yeah. We got ammunition. I'm in. Count me in. No, I'm glad you enjoyed it because, like I said, it's it's up there at one of my. It's in my top. It's definitely my top 10 favorite games of all time. But if I were to sit and think on it, it would probably make the top 5 at this stage.
It's definitely my top 10 all time as well, which is crazy. It just shot up there.
Yeah,
It is crazy to think that, like,
because my favorite game is Outer Wilds, and I was saying to Craig that I haven't had an experience with a video game that has impacted me so deeply since Outer Wilds. In Clair Obscur, that was great.
oh shit, that's been a good while.
2019.
My most recent like game that just like I don't know the experience you're describing, but the way I'd think of it is just like depressed when it's done.
Yeah. Like there's a big hole. Like
not even just depressed when it's done, because like I've been thinking about it just nonstop all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
I'm so interested in like there's so many interesting like philosophical arguments that like pose around the ending of the game.
Oh, okay. So different than what I'm thinking, because I'm thinking like the last game that like fucked me up, and I still haven't really recovered from it. Is Armored Core 6. Like when I finished that game, I got so sad that I was just like, well,
what do I do now?
What do I do now?
What do I play
Yeah,
now?
yeah.
I actually think I'd describe it as the complete opposite of that. Like when I got to the end of Outer Wilds, I was just so happy about how complete a piece of art it was, that I got to experience it, and it felt also like
Game of the
beautifully
year?
put together.
Game of the year?
Claire Obscure.
Yeah.
Well, that's a great question. I would say yes, but we're going to discuss in today's
Yeah, I was
news
gonna say,
episode
yeah,
that there's another game coming out in a couple of weeks
I don't
that I think is
fucking
going
know about
to
that.
sweep up a lot more press than Claire Obscure.
Are we going to talk about that in that news episode today?
Yeah, you mentioned it in the role coming in. Hollow Knight Silksong.
Oh, yeah. Oh, thank heavens. I thought I hadn't done some work, you know. I was like, oh, shit.
yeah.
I was like, fuck.
Silksong. Okay. I think if we get into the episode, I think we're gonna touch on
You
Silksong.
think Silksong could be Claire Obscure? Fucking
Most wishlisted game. On
What,
Steam.
what is FedEx Explorer?
Death Stranding.
Yeah, Death Stranding.
Explorer.
And Kingdom Come Deliverance also came out this year, and that
Yeah.
was
And there are talks about Donkey Kong as well, Bonanza. That's really high rated.
Yeah, I do
Nominated.
not-
I think it'll be in the nominations for sure.
Yeah, it'll be nominated. Even
Yeah.
Night Rain will probably be nominated. They're not going to win.
I don't think Death Stranding gets it. I don't think Donkey Kong gets it. I could just be way out of the loop, way blind on this.
Yeah.
But I don't think Donkey Kong gets it.
Silksong would fall under best indie game though, right?
No, it'll
No,
be up for
because
Game of the
it's literally Hollow Knight. So it would be. Oh no, it wouldn't be best indie debut.
Be best just independent game, right?
But it could, I think any game, if it's good enough, can get nominated for Game of the Year.
That's true. We did have Balatro in Game of the Year last year, so that is true.
Which very deserving.
Yeah.
So
Most addictive thing.
I think Silksong instantly gets nominated, I reckon.
I don't know, like if Silksong, because we've been like, it's almost been just like a fucking legend at this point. We've been waiting so long. Finally, like just borderline shadow dropped.
Because it is well, I won't
September
spoil it.
4th.
No, Chris, we have a news item. No, you're absolutely fine. I don't
Oh, I
care.
thought, yeah, now we're into the news, boys. Yeah, here we go.
We get stuck into it and get into the.
Well, we
first-
start off with Silksong, will we?
Yeah, we might as well. We're fucking
doesn't
here
wrap the show.
already.
We're here. Yeah, all right, okay. So this is coming from Patricia Hernandez over at Polygon. This is from the 22nd of August. Hollow Knight Silksong's surprise release already has other games scrambling. Now, this is just more about the universe of what it's caused, but we'll talk about Silksong within this, of course. With its predecessor selling 15 million copies and a release trailer that racked up 3.3 million views in less than 24 hours, news of the impending release of Hollow Knight Silksong was practically destined to have a massive impact on the gaming industry. Already, the hand-drawn indie has pushed multiple other games to acknowledge its importance in one way or another, especially if the title in question had the misfortune of a planned release date around the same time as September 4th. So far, at least two games that were originally planned for early September are being pushed back, and they're both naming Hollow Knight Silksong as the culprit. Quote, "We poured our hearts into our little game, so we want to give it the best possible shot," reads an announcement by the devs behind Clover Pit, a horror game that's like a cross between Balatro and Bookshot Roulette. Clover Pit isn't yet another Souls-like vying for attention, but it is a roguelike, which means that both audiences welcome challenging games where dying is a core part of the experience.
Silksong is a roguelike? Is that what I just heard?
But it is, which means that both audiences welcome challenging games, I guess. Silksong's challenging,
okay,
a roguelike challenging, I guess.
Roguelike would be interesting, but like
It's a Metro.
Hollow Knight was definitely a Metroidvania.
Yeah, no, it is. I think it goes on to
Yeah.
that. So originally planned for September 3rd, Clover Pit is now coming out on September 26th. In other cases, there's a stronger overlap between games.
September 20th. No, it's September 4th.
No. So
the other game,
Clover
Clover
Pit was September 3rd.
Clover.
They've moved that to September 26th
okay.
because of Silksong. In other cases, there's a stronger overlap between games. Eterna Lucius, for example, is a tough Metroidvania with an emphasis on fast-paced combat, and it's part of a series that's been compared to Hollow Knight by fans. Beyond the similarities in genre, Eterna Lucius is also features an ornate Gothic-style art packed with plenty of platforms and illustrated enemies that sometimes wear white masks. The team behind Eterna Lucius have been working on it for 4 years and consider it their most ambitious title to date. Quote, "After the announcement of Silksong, we were fully aware that our game wouldn't have the visibility it deserves," reads an announcement by the studio. The quote continues, "Competing with a phenomenon of that scale would not only be unfair to our team's effort, but also to you, the community, who expect to experience this adventure under the best possible conditions," end quote. The folks behind Eterna Lucius say that Silksong isn't the only reason for the game being pushed back. The studio is also having trouble securing development kits for all the platforms. It's eyeing for release, so it's made the decision to delay the game until sometime in 2026. Probably these won't be the last games to experience the shock waves of Silksong's sudden release date. The people behind the massive Steam hit peak Ever the Jokers acknowledged this reality in-game after implementing some bug fixes. Players who are trying out Peak's Mesa update are finding a note that says that developers know players will probably take a break from the game in 2 weeks when Team Cherry's hype sequel is finally out.
Yeah, they have actually. I started playing Peak, and they have that in notice, and just like
enjoy Silksong.
Enjoy Peak for the next 2 weeks, because then everyone should be playing like Silksong or something like it.
I like that amongst the indie developers. Yeah,
that's cool.
The phenomenon of delays tied to the release of major games is somewhat rare, as most titles don't have the type of cultural cachet to warrant such a strong response from competitors. Most recently, when the world still believed that Grand Theft Auto 6 might still come out in 2025, there was chatter that major publishers had the panic button on standby should Rockstar's open world get scheduled for a similar time frame as their own releases.
It's crazy that we're now talking about like Silksong in the same vein of Grand Theft Auto.
It's
like
the Grand Theft Auto of the indie world, right? Essentially.
Yeah.
I mean, what was it? It's a 7 years in development? 7 years since the first one, right?
No, it's got to be longer than that.
I think, surely Hollow Knight came out before 2018, I think.
Yeah, I think.
So is it 7 years?
That was pre-Ireland.
Check it really
Is it
quickly.
7
That
years?
was pre-Ireland for me, I think.
Because I know it's 7 years possibly in development, which is crazy. So maybe they started a couple of years after the release of the first Hollow Knight, but that's mental. Hollow Knight Silksong's release date has a softer vibe to it compared to the behemoth that is GTA 6, though. Nowhere is this more evident than the nod of respect that the Eternum team places Silksong in its delay announcement. Quote, "We also want to take this opportunity to thank Team Cherry," the statement reads. "There's no need to wish them luck. We know that Silksong will be a success and a masterpiece. Instead of rivalry,
2017. Fucking.
Yeah. 8 years.
8 years.
Close, yeah.
Instead of rivalry, what we feel is gratitude. Thanks to them, the Metroidvania genre is more alive than ever, and, in fact, they're one of the main inspirations that led us to create Eterna Noctis and the entire saga now in development," end quote. Whether or not the release date of other games truly changes the outcome for other games is still an open question, though. By some estimates, the strongest indicator of a long-term success is the level of interest a game can garner prior to release. While it's easy to blame other forces for taking away potential players, games that release around the same time as a highly anticipated title tend to perform about as well as their forecasts predict. Games that came out around the same time as Elden Ring didn't seem to do better or worse for it. It probably depends on the game, though. The release of Horizon Zero Dawn coinciding with series like The Legend of Zelda or Star Wars has become a meme, but it's not likely Sony's open world franchise died due to an unfortunate release date. 38 million copies is nothing to sneeze at. But game developers are people too. Moving the release date might not entirely be motivated by the desire to ensure that their game performs better, even if the explanation takes up the most airtime. In their announcement, Clover Pit's creators say they're looking forward to playing Silksong just like everybody else. And let's be real, it's probably hard to orchestrate the release of a game when you're trying to beat that one pesky Silksong boss. So, Luke, game of the year, contender. Or...
I think if Craig, the critical Nolan, was here, he would immediately sweep in and say something like, it has so much of what that article referred to as a cultural cachet that it's an immediate Game of the Year contender just because
it's in the
it's in the conversation straight away.
No, I think because of all the anticipation and just like how, like, because it's a meme at this point. It's like, when Silksong?
Yeah.
I think that's going to work, like... not in their favor, because if like
can it live up to the hype is the question.
Pressure is insane.
Oh no, I feel like I've had this I said this exact same thing with something recently, and it just like absolutely lived up to the hype. Can't remember what, but
well, there is
my fucking argument's just falling apart now.
I sometimes think that like the best thing that Valve ever did was not release Half-Life Episode 3 or Half-Life 3 or whatever, because now it's just in infamy that it would have been the greatest
trying
game
to release it
of all time.
now would
just
be
release
awful.
Any 3, Portal 3, Half-Life 3, Left 4 Dead 3,
Half-Life,
just
Alex.
give us something.
That was their morsel. No, I don't know. I think
Team Fortress 3, just like anything.
I don't think the games industry is fickle enough that like it would just be. I think it would be talked about as a Game of the Year contender just because the formula is so proven through Hollow Knight, and it's such an interesting concept that they have for Silksong. So I think enough people will be super interested in it. I think it'll definitely be talked about in those circles. But if it's just not a good game, it won't. It won't be up there.
Did you guys just play the first one?
Yep. I didn't finish the first one.
No,
so
nor I.
That's something
I
next
just played
on my
a little
list.
bit of the first one.
Yeah, it's in my. I played it a good couple hours, but never finished it. And then it's been in my to-do list for a while. Like I think it just.
It's like. It's a shocking time commitment. Like all Metroidvanias are. They're big games, man.
Yeah.
But
Interesting. I wonder if this is one that, because Craig is trying to this year play as many of the potential nominees as he can.
Yeah.
So he's done Expedition 33. I think he got Donkey Kong, or is getting Donkey Kong, and then he's played Death Stranding 2. I wonder if Silksong would be something that he'd pick up as well, because it's probably going to be
interesting. Actually,
yeah. Because he said this year he wants to be able to talk across them all. Because I think last year Rebirth was his only one, whereas I
smoked by Astrobot.
yeah. Astrobot was a great game though. Do you know what I mean? And I think it, like, you know, Rebirth suffered from that, like the middle of the series. You know, it's kind of starts already into the story, ends on a.
No, the fact of the matter is, it only caters to the nostalgic people like that miss and want more Final Fantasy VII content.
Yeah.
So they're not going to get new fans. It's just like the
old ones coming back. Yeah.
I think it was a good enough game to get some new fans, like people who wanted to get in on 7 but just couldn't.
Niall, my friend Niall got into remake and then Rebirth, so he really enjoyed it.
Okay, so I shouldn't say no new fans, but it's
new
definitely
fans. But you're right, it
not
is
the target market.
You're right, it is. It's got a massive, and that's the thing as well. I think I've been able to sit on it for a long time, and I think nostalgia clouded a lot of my views of the game. I think content-wise, it's one of the most content-rich games I've ever played in terms of the standard time to beat that game while not completing everything is a good 100 hours. Do you know what I mean?
It's interesting you say that because, I haven't played it yet, and I am going to play it one of these days. But the very few problems I've heard of the game is there is just too much content. Like apparently it's just a game of mini games or something.
It becomes that there is plenty of mini. There's like in each kind of world you go to, there's a whole set of mini games. None of them are a necessity, but I think when you're playing through, you feel like you should do them because it's like a mini game per open world section, you know. But yeah, it is. I think there is almost too much content. If you've got the nostalgia drug for it, all the mini games, bar maybe one or two, are fantastic, and I'll play on that whole. I love this game back in this, you know, the 90s, all that kind of stuff. But okay, Silksong. Watch the space. Maybe that's when I'll pick up Silksong and Donkey Kong. I'll probably try and play before we get to Game Awards. I don't think I'll get around to ever touching Death Stranding.
Whatever the way the landscape looks by the time we get to that point in the year, I'm very excited for the Game Awards this year. That's going to be fire. That's going to be
we should try and do like a sit-in. It's just late, but we should, and I think it's a Thursday night, so I might try and get the Friday off again.
We talk about it being late, but like every year so far, it's been me and you. Although we didn't hang out last year, we just texted each other.
During the thing. But I might try and get the Friday because it's always Thursday night, so I might try and get the Friday off work and sit in and see if people are around. Right, well, I suppose we'll go to the next news item, which is one we've touched on before, but you know the plot thickens. And this is coming from game developer by Chris Kerr. Unknown Worlds files lawsuit against ousted founders for allegedly downloading over 170,000 confidential files. I've read through this article before, fellas, and this is getting juicy. Ooh. Yeah. So Subnautica developer and Krafton subsidiary, Unknown Worlds, is suing its former leaders, who have already sued Krafton, for allegedly abandoning their fiduciary duties and downloading and keeping confidential company information. A redacted public version of the lawsuit, filed on August 15th in the Court of Chancery in Delaware, was sent to game developer by Krafton's public relations team and claims former Unknown Worlds execs Charlie Cleveland, Max McGuire, and Ted Gill became disinterested in developing Subnautica 2 and instead chose to stop working on the game. Notably, it also accuses them of downloading over 170,000 confidential company files before their employment was terminated. If those allegations sound familiar, it's because they chime with claims made by Krafton in its response to the lawsuit filed against the South Korean publisher by Cleveland, McGuire, and Gill. That lawsuit was filed after all three were ousted from the company. The execs allege that Krafton is stalling the early access launch of Subnautica 2 to avoid paying a massive $250 million revenue-based earnout tied to the sequel's success. They claim Subnautica 2 is ready for early access. Krafton begs to differ and recently said the trio chose to prioritize their own monetary interests over the best interests of the franchise. The legal war
their own monetary interest, $250 million on the line. What more of a monetary interest is there?
I think they're actually, in the article, they're referring to a few of them have like film production studios outside of games.
And this article will touch upon that.
Right. Yeah.
The legal war of words is becoming increasingly heated. In its lawsuit, Unknown Worlds claims Cleveland, McGuire, and Gill downloaded, quote, substantial volumes, end quote, of undisclosed confidential company information on their way out the door. Quote, Maguire and Cleveland grew more active in the week before their threatened termination. Maguire downloaded 99,902 company files in the days leading up to his termination, and Cleveland downloaded 72,140 company files, the lawsuit states. Cleveland was stopped in the middle of his activity. His last download from the company system occurred just 8 minutes before the company terminated his system access. These downloads were by far the largest downloads for each of the 3 key employees at any time since at least 2022. Unknown World said these downloads included confidential information of, quote, nearly every type, end quote, including business records, intellectual property, internal communications, Subnautica concepts, game design files, and other items that were redacted in the public version of the lawsuit.
It sounds like they knew, like they saw the writing on the wall and they just did a quick scrape because they knew a lawsuit was coming. There's probably something in those files that like prove, like help their case. So I don't think they targeted, like, we were talking about hundreds of thousands of files or something.
170,000.
Yeah. No, they just did a full scrape. They just get everything because there is information in here that I won't be able to get later, and it's going to help me in
fighting this case.
Yeah.
Quote, the scope of the projected release was degraded time and time again. Unknown Worlds also restated claims that at least 2 of the aforementioned leaders checked out in all but name. Cleveland was the first to stray, reach the lawsuit. Despite publicly holding himself out as the chief executive officer and game director of Unknown Worlds, he was gradually becoming disengaged. In 2022, the lead developer on Subnautica 2, a franchise and project supposed to be led by Cleveland, openly complained that the project had no creative leadership and I haven't been able to get much of Charlie's time lately and sort of don't know what he really thinks of or wants to hear, end quote. By 2023, Cleveland announced to friends and some colleagues that he was leaving video game development to learn how to produce movies and explore other interests. He later changed his LinkedIn profile to part-time, and by 2024, he abandoned all creative or other leadership roles with the company. Unknown Worlds then alleges Maguire became buried in his passion project, Moonbreaker, even after the turn-based strategy title, also developed by Unknown Worlds and published by Crafton, had been deemed a commercial failure. Quote, eventually he, too, abandoned any pretense of technical involvement in Subnautica 2. Gil, who assumed the role of CEO of Unknown Worlds, was fully aware of the situation and did nothing, adds the filing. Unknown World asserts that Gil could not overcome the complete abdication of the Subnautica 2 creative and technical leadership team, causing development to stall. Quote, the release date initially projected for redacted was pushed back again and again, 3 times in all, because the game was now nowhere near release. It continues, worse, the scope of the projected release was degraded time and time again. What originally was projected to be a limited scope, early access release, was limited to little more than a sandbox. In short, Unknown Worlds claims all 3 former leaders pushed for Subnautica 2 to be released before it was ready in pursuit of that seismic earnout. It alleges their termination was a result of that transgression and ultimately sparked the legal battle we find ourselves watching at this very moment. Unknown Worlds has requested the court prevent Cleveland, Maguire and Gill from disclosing its trade secrets, confidential and proprietary business information, or using that information to benefit themselves or a third party. The studio demands the confidential information be returned. In addition, the company is seeking damages for, quote, wrongful conduct proved at a trial alongside its attorneys' fees, costs and expenses, as well as pre- and post-judgment interest. It then wants to be awarded all rights, title and interest in any intellectual property developed by Cleveland, Maguire and Gill during their employment at Unknown Worlds, including, quote, all movie scripts, movie footage, game design, game code, playtests, or other software development.
They're coming for
Oh
everything.
my God, no! This whole article sounds like a hit piece. Like it doesn't make sense that they have this 250 million bonus online, but now they're just like disinterested in doing side projects instead. Like, I don't know.
It's a hard right because we did the first article right and we were all very much boo craft and whatever else. And this article, I'm like, no, you're only getting it from it's the lawsuit released by.
I don't know. I think
I
I think a lot of this is fake news to paint those guys worse because Crafton knows they are the bad guys.
You reckon?
Yeah, I think that this is just a smear campaign. Why would you just put your profile to like, or LinkedIn profile like subtly just like, oh, I'm part time now, but like there's a $250 million like bonus online if you get this game done. I don't get like why it would just like, oh yeah,
because you're disinterested and you think it's a guarantee.
No, absolutely not. No, not until that money's in my bank do I think that's a guarantee.
Yeah.
I don't know. This sounds like a smear campaign article.
Luke, where are you leaning?
I'm kind of the same as Chris. I think it sounds like a smear campaign thing. The first time we covered this, I said that I think my gut is saying that the Unknown Worlds guys, the devs, are probably in the right here, but that they will not win this case because they can't. They're going to be outlawyered and they're going to be out-resourced every turn.
Well,
Crafton.
let's hope in those fucking 200,000 files they downloaded, there is proof. There's probably like a Slack message or something in there. They're just like.
Well, the one thing that's interesting is that where does it say? It then wants to be awarded all rights, so not that one. Oh, Unknown Worlds has requested the court prevent Cleveland Maguire and Gill from disclosing its trade secrets, confidential and proprietary business information, or using that information to benefit themselves or a third party. Which is that? Does that
sounds like you can't use that in court? Which I don't think you're allowed to tell somebody like you're not allowed to use this evidence in court.
But
you signed a contract.
It basically sounds like they're going to take up another suit against them, which again they will win. Because so even if the guys are successful in proving that the game was ready for early access, that it was on target, and that they should have received the 250 million, they get the 250 million. The publisher then sues them for 250 million for breach.
You know what my biggest problem with this is? Like, let's say yes, these guys can't beat Crafton. Crafton wins. Then it would come down to us as the gaming community to just like, okay, well then we have to fuck over Crafton, but like.
But my thing about it is,
we'll never come together.
I'm never playing PUBG again.
Yeah. I'm going to sit on the fence here on this.
He's like, no, I've been waiting for Subnautica 2 for years, so I'm fucking getting it. Fuck you guys.
Just like a lot of people, like that's the thing. It's just a pity this has happened. I'm sitting on the fence on this one in terms of where I see this one going. Like, again, this is very much a lawsuit from the side of Crafton, so it's all of, it's their side of the story as opposed to the three guys. But the thing that concerns me is we haven't had a single, and maybe it's too dangerous because maybe you'd be tracked down and maybe you could lose your job. But if the game was close to release, surely we would have heard, even from an anonymous source inside Unknown Worlds, to confirm, hey, I was working on the game, this was ready, Crafton's full of shit. Like, there's not been a peep, it's just the three guys, and that's the part that makes me kind of be like, was the game ready?
Do we know there hasn't been a peep though? Like, I haven't talked to any of the devs.
Well, no, but I would have thought someone would have. Like, I would have thought some news outlet would have picked up someone who would have said, "Hi, I don't want to be named, but I'm working on Unknown Worlds, and Gill, Cleveland, whatever. They're correct. The game is. I worked on it. The game was ready for release, but there's not been any of that."
But there's so the reason I said
we also haven't heard it's not ready for release.
We from Crafton we have like so the point that I made last time was it really doesn't matter what the heads of the studio say. It doesn't matter what any dev at the studio says. Crafton are the publishers. It is literally their financial responsibility to either greenlight this for release or stop its release. Yeah. And the game literally, by definition, isn't ready until they say it is.
No, like so I understand in terms of like from the technical perspective, yes, the publisher is going to be able to greenlight this or whatever else. But like people who are working on the game to be able to come out and say, no, I've been developing this for the past however many years. We felt it's ready to go into a beta or to whatever by this date. Yeah. To me, it's weird that there's no one coming out on the side of the three. And maybe they're like, again, it's a scary world to come out and because you could probably be tracked down, you could probably be whatever, your job's at risk. It's a very unsteady industry at the minute anyway. So do you want to get yourself involved in that? But at the same time, that $250 million bonus was going to be spread out between the entire development team. And if you believe what the three former owners said, they were going to give a bigger portion of that to the development team. If that was the case, surely you'd be coming out and saying, hey, I was on that game, it was ready, I don't know what the fuck Crafton's talking about,
I could see the studio heads, like the three guys, I could see them like talking to their studio and saying, hey, look, we're taking a huge risk by taking this on in court. Nobody say anything. Like, protect your own well-beings. You have a future in the games industry. You can be devs on other games someday. The ship is going down. Don't get yourself caught in the fire. Like, we're going down with the ship. You don't have to. I can see that. And again, you have to remember how quick. That's another thing I remarked on first time, how quick the turnaround of this story was, where it was like the devs had the conversation with Crafton and said, this game is ready for early access
and then all of
at the beginning of April, and then by the beginning of May, they were all fired.
Yeah.
So there was like the turnaround on this was
here's
so
the big
quick.
fucking red flag.
It was so quick, and
it's one of those things. I wonder if we'll ever know the full truth of this. This story has fascinated me, like as most news stories that we cover. I'm really intrigued by this one, really intrigued. This one, and I think it was. Do you remember? I can't remember the name of the studio, but the guys who were making that zombie apocalypse one, and it was all like assets. And the game
day
was
after tomorrow or something.
Whatever, the day before, whatever it was called.
Fucking Fanatic.
Fanatic. Yeah. This is kind of the first story since Fanatic that's kind of like really gripped me to be like, what the fuck happened here? I really want to know.
It feels like a story that a
Fanatic
good,
one of those like surreal. I didn't even believe that was happening.
a good games journalist could. It feels like this is a story that a good games journalist could crack open, like with enough information.
Yeah,
you could get the proper perspective on
getting
this.
in touch with people from the studio, being like, hey, do you want to make a comment on it? Like anything like that. Like a bit of investigatory journalism.
We need to convince CoffeeZilla to drop crypto and just go after game news.
Yeah,
that guy will figure it out.
Should we go into our next story? So the reason I kind of picked this one, it was earlier on, it was last week that the head of Santa Monica Studio came out on their Facebook and said that they were looking at, or they were already in development of a unique IP, after their God of War things. That was debunked. But since that was debunked, people have kind of gone into like lots of what's been said with Santa Monica Studios in the past, which is why I picked up on this story, because it's a game close to my heart and it's one of those things that I'd quite like to see come through. But this next story is Jak and Daxter reboot leak sounds too good to be true. This is coming from Ingrid Redden at Gaming Bible. This is from the 19th of August. Sometimes the oldies are the goldies, and that seems to be the thoughts of Santa Monica Studio following rumors that the studio is working on bringing back an iconic IP. Originally developed by Naughty Dog and owned by Sony Interactive Entertainment, the Jak and Daxter franchise took the early 2000s by storm. With the first entry, Jak and Daxter: The Precursor Legacy, released back in 2001 for the PlayStation 2, it was considered a defining franchise for the console, so it's perhaps no wonder that fans have been calling out for a reboot over the years. Well, according to a series of reports, Santa Monica Studio, which is best known for its God of War franchise, may be working on the next Jak and Daxter game. Earlier this year, Jason Schreier revealed that Santa Monica's next project would not be a brand new IP, but rather the return of an old one. Quote, "I'll put it this way, it's not a new IP, but it might feel like one," he said to Reset Era. Maybe that's why people are confused. Please don't ask me more questions about this. If I wind up reporting more information at any point in the future, it'll be in an article, not on a forum, Schreier finished. Previously, Cory Barlog, the current creative director at Santa Monica Studios, took to Twitter back in 2021 to joke that he was currently working on The Last of Us, not currently working on The Last of Us, but with Jak and Daxter instead. The post has since been deleted, but it was enough to capture fans' attention. Of course, neither of these instances confirm a Jak and Daxter remake, but it sure is a lot of coincidences. Following this, fans took to our gaming leaks and rumors on Reddit to share their thoughts on potential reboots. This would be a dream, but 1% chance it's true, one user claimed. Another fan added, Cory Barlog overhauled the God of War series into something new and fresh. It isn't a stretch to think that Sony would pay him and his team to do the same thing to another IP. It remains to be seen if Jak and Daxter reboot will be brought to life, but right now we can only hope. And hope I will, said Darren.
This is the time.
Yeah, but God of War...
Platform's so hot right now.
Yeah, platform's so hot right now. But it was in terms of the God of War games, the old ones, I played through them. Not 3. 1 and 2 I played through, never played through 3.
But was Jak and Daxter a platformer?
I suppose, yeah, it would have been a platformer, 3D platformer.
Was Ratchet and Clank also like?
They were the two. Yeah. They were the two.
They're identical,
rivals.
pretty much, right?
Yeah, rivals at the time.
Yeah, they're competitors. But it was
Ratchet and Clank outlived Jak and Daxter to win out. I would have said if we would have them battle against each other.
I don't know if I agree with that.
I mean, we got a PS5 Ratchet and Clank brand new game. Do you know what I mean? Jak and Daxter's been dead since the racing game, I think.
But I would argue, I was thinking about this while you were reading it, I'd argue that Naughty Dog is like the goated studio, because the thing back in the day was Naughty Dog versus Insomniac, which was Crash Bandicoot versus Spyro. So Naughty Dog did Crash Bandicoot, then they came out with Jak and Daxter, changed the game, then they came out with Uncharted, did Uncharted for ages, and then they made Last of Us.
Yeah,
what?
One of the greatest. Yeah. No, I mean it is. I think you're right in saying it's a goated studio for sure. It's just that I think from survivability, Ratchet and Clank is still in the ether of.
I'd make the argument that that's not a big win when you see like that Naughty Dog went on to make like The Last of Us.
Yeah.
Like the Naughty Dog stopped making Jak and Daxter and then went on to do Uncharted, hugely popular, turned into a movie. Then they went on to make The Last of Us, hugely popular, turned into a hit TV
Uncharted
series.
always actually kind of pissed me off though.
Huh?
I never played it.
Yeah, it was just
Uncharted.
Oh yeah,
Tomb Raider.
It was Tomb Raider, and it was funny because I played through all of them. I did 1, 2, and 3. I didn't do 4 and 5.
I didn't do any of them. I played like
they were
a bit of the first one.
I know they were great. They were funny, but they got so out. Like each new entry was so outlandish compared to the previous one. I remember the start of
like
3.
Indiana Jones.
yeah, but the start of 3, I think, was it could be
the
wrong,
other thing it ripped off.
but it was on a train that kind of crashes off a mountain, and like it's the amount of stuff that Nathan Drake survives. I was like, all right, this is getting to be in the realm of absolute ridiculous.
Did you
the
ever
movie?
see the movie?
No, Tom Holland. No,
When he's falling like, oh god, he's like
out of a plane.
out of a plane, out of the cargo, and he climbs out like the cargo that's just like dangling in the air for some reason. Oh god, it was awful movie.
He was,
so
and I'm a
bad.
big Tom Holland fan. He was a
I
bad
don't-
choice, poor choice for Nathan Drake.
Oh my god, Tom Holland. Why is that ringing so? I think I had a bunch of arguments about Tom Holland last night.
You just barely remember.
No, I
It's
think
at
that was
the edge of
another
your
one of
room.
me and Craig's arguments about like the fucking Spider-Man. Like, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he was. Yeah. Okay.
What was your thoughts on Tom Holland as Spider-Man?
I think they're the best movies.
Yeah.
I think he's the worst Spider-Man. Craig just almost like pops his fucking lid, man. He's just like, he's the fucking best. Like, my problem with it is like, sure they're funny, but like Spider-Man and Peter Parker, like Spider-Man specifically, like he makes jokes at like his enemy's expense.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the only reason we're laughing at Spider-Man in these new movies is because he says something stupid. He's always the butt of the joke. I fucking hate it, man.
Fair. The way I've always viewed
He's like,
Spider-Man.
you see that old movie, Star Wars?
Yeah.
Oh,
How old is
fuck
this
off.
kid? Yeah. I think the way I've always viewed it is, to me, Tobey Maguire was the best
Yeah,
Peter
I've heard
Parker.
this, yeah.
Andrew Garfield was the best Spider-Man,
Yeah.
and I think Tom Holland is a really good combination of the two. But I think Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man was like the comic book Spider-Man, like the quippy, insulting enemies
Yeah,
all the
exactly.
time, that
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
But back to Jak and Daxter, the reason I wanted to bring this story in, because it wasn't a big story and it's very much speculation, but it was the fact that for the PS2, we didn't get a PS2 at launch. It was given to us the Christmas after it launched, I think. And I remember my brother's mate, my eldest brother's mate, Andrew, on the podcast, one of his old friends back then when I was that age, so what was that, 2001? So I was like 10, 11. For my birthday, his friend got me Jak and Daxter, the precursor Legacy, before we even had the PlayStation 2. So I had this PlayStation 2 again. He knew we were getting it.
No fucking way, really?
He knew we were getting it anyway, like, because we talked about it, like, oh yeah, we've asked
Did
for
you
it
know
for
you were
Christmas.
getting it? Because that's kind of a spoiler.
Well, we all knew we were getting the PlayStation 2. Like, we'd asked for it for Christmas, and, I know I'm 10, but, like, I kind of figured out the whole Christmas Santa thing,
yeah,
you know?
fair enough.
He's real, guys, by the way. But
That's what he figured out.
Yeah.
He figured out he was real. And you're definitely getting a PlayStation.
But I held on to this thing, and, like, it was that thing where I read the manual, because I couldn't play it, so I read the manual back to front, like, so many times, opened the
Yeah.
box, looked at the disc, being like, I'm so excited, and it was the first game that any of us had. And I remember playing that to death, 100% in that game. And the idea of getting, like, if Santa Monica Studios were to really pick that up into like a God of War 2018-esque remaking of it, I'd be like, fuck yes, that could be really, really cool, really, really cool. So I'd love if that was what they were working on.
I think so. You introduced me to Jak and Daxter, Darren, when we were like 10 or 11. And I completely fell in love with the game.
It's so good, man.
I loved it so much. I also 100%ed it back then. And it's probably the game that made me fall in love with like very crisp movement mechanics, because god damn was that refined. I still watch Jak and Daxter speedruns today because they're so funny. But because a lot of it's to do with how bug the map is, but the actual movement mechanics themselves are so like frame perfect that it's just so enjoyable to do. Right?
Now's the time to make it a fucking platformer, because it seems like
the
game of the year last year, potential nominee this year.
Yeah.
The big.
It's a way to go into it. We'll go into this. What have I got story-wise? We did Hollow Knight, and we'll end on that one. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to go through. Chris, you put this one in. I think it's just an interesting read. It's the Evo business update.
Oh, yeah. This one.
So this is coming from the 21st of August from Evo themselves. There's no journalist or name attached to this update. So multi-year partnerships with Kadia, I think it's pronounced, and Sony Interactive Entertainment, and new ownership of Evo by Nodwin Gaming, alongside existing shareholders RTS, will fuel the global growth of events, contests, and experiences. The Future of Evolution Championship Series, EVO, takes a major step forward today as the world's largest and longest-running fighting game festival, as it enters new ownership and multi-year partnerships. Strategic agreements with Nodwin Gaming Kidia, Sony Interactive Entertainment, and RTS will drive EVO's international expansion, engaging content, and immersive experiences through 2028 and beyond. SIE has sold its stake in EVO to Nodwin Gaming, a company backed by SIE's parent Sony Group Corporation. SIE will become a new global sponsor of EVO through 2028 and will continue its commitment to the fighting game community through the PlayStation Tournaments platform and key products currently in development that appeal to the fighting game players. Quote, when SIE acquired EVO alongside RTS in 2021, our goal was to help the EVO community grow and spotlight the skills and passion of fighting game fans on a global stage, said Phil Rosenberg, SVP and Head of Global Partner Development and Relations at Sony Interactive Entertainment. As SIE transitions to become an EVO sponsor, the momentum for EVO has never been stronger. Following a successful Las Vegas event and upcoming expansion to new regions, we look forward to supporting the continued growth of EVO globally, end quote. New co-owner, Nodwin Gaming, is a leading name in the South Asian gaming, esports and youth entertainment industries, with EVO complementing its wide range of properties. Quote, EVO was built by a team whose authenticity and passion for the fighting game community are unmatched, said Nodwin Gaming co-founder and managing director Ashat Rathi. We will continue SIE's great work and honour the legacy of everyone who has made it to what it is today, while opening the door for a new generation to experience the spirit of EVO. Kadia, which became a global partner of EVO in 2024, announced today that the company is investing in RTS, co-owner and operator of EVO, and will extend its global partnership with EVO through 2027. Quote, teaming up with Kadia strengthens the future of RTS and what we're building with EVO, an event that lives up to its name by driving real transformation in the fighting game community through new opportunities, deeper connections, and meaningful growth, said Stuart Saw, CEO of RTS. The realignment and new partnerships will also support EVO's vision for more original content to engage the community and continue to push the boundaries of creating more profound immersive experiences during the live events. The popularity and global presence of EVO has continued to grow. Most recently, EVO's flagship event in Las Vegas attracted fans and competitors from more than 60 countries and crowned champions across 16 fighting game titles. The festival show floor covered 14 acres, featuring major brand activations from Chipotle as the presenting sponsor alongside AT&T, PlayStation. Yeah.
It's crazy. Like when you watch, you guys probably haven't watched EVO.
I've watched some of it, yeah. But when the ads come up,
it's always Chipotle everywhere.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah.
And it's funny.
They're feeding like everyone Chipotle, just like everyone's only eating Chipotle.
The toilets at EVO must be
Red Bull's the other one too.
God.
Yeah,
Red Bull
and Chipotle. Yeah.
Just tacos and energy drinks.
Jesus. And then he goes on to make more
sewer problems.
14 acres were entirely ruined across EVO.
Chipotle have to cover the sewage budget of EVO.
Beyond the US, EVO returned to Japan at Tokyo Big Sight and became the largest in-person tournament in the country's history with approximately 30,000 attendees.
Oh shit!
EVO will make its European debut at the Palace des Expos in Nice, France on October 10th to 12th, which has already broken a record for registrations. The event series is expanding to Singapore in 2027. Luke, you raised your hands there. Was that
Yeah, I said let's go. Let's go to France.
Oh, fuck, I loved it, man, for EVO.
Yeah, go to Nice.
Because one of my things I was going to say...
fucking dope. Actually, EVO, I think I've said this on the podcast, it's one of the few, like, big gaming conventions that I'd actually want to go to.
It's one of the things that not that I can regret I had no choice in the matter, but I do miss the fact from a gaming perspective that I wasn't born in the States from all of the big events that they have. EVO being one of them that I would just love to get a train. Well, they don't have trains over there. To get a flight over to Vegas and go to EVO would be fucking amazing.
Even just watching the streams here is an ordeal because they're fucking late.
Yeah, man. Yeah, the timing thing is not pleasant at all. So just to finish the article, quote, in recent years, EVO hosted record-setting events in the USA and Japan, and our upcoming premiere in France is already breaking European records, said Rick Theher, General Manager of EVO. These latest partnerships join the ongoing support from our global and regional partners in accelerating EVO's expansion from hosting renowned live events to serving as a nexus point for fighting game culture worldwide, end quote. That article goes on to talk about who Kadia are, who what was it, gaming? Nodwin Gaming, yeah. So kind of, if anyone's interested, we'll leave the links to these articles online. It's interesting to read who they are and what they're about when it comes to EVO. But I'm excited about this because when you I didn't read the article initially when you put it into the chat, Chris, and when you said that Sony was selling its stake, I was like, shit, that didn't last very long, because I was hoping Sony would be the big promoter. But it sounds like they've gotten one of their, Nodwin Gaming, whose parent is still Sony, to come in and take their shares so that SIE could throw more money into the whole thing as a sponsor. So it sounds like a way that they're able to just, I don't know, pump more stuff into it to grow.
So Sony still technically owns it? Is that
Nodwin is owned by Sony, so it's Nodwin who they've sold the stakes to are still owned by Sony in some
when they
capacity.
do weird shit like this, I just feels like they're just they're doing something that I don't really understand, and they don't want us to know.
I mean,
that makes me uncomfortable.
They've said that Sony Interactive Entertainment is now sponsoring the whole event, which I'm sure there's probably rules about having
sponsoring is different than.
But if you have a stake in it, you probably can't sponsor the event.
And I am kind of conflicted about all this because at the same time, like Sony was doing good with Evo. Like Evo was just getting bigger and bigger, but at the same time, it always didn't sit well with me that like one of the big gaming platforms owned this huge tournament that shouldn't be like specific to a platform, right?
Yeah.
So you see a lot of like PlayStation pads or something like that. So it, like the fact that like it is not, or I thought it wasn't going to be owned by Sony anymore. I thought that would kind of like open up the doors to like.
But it sounds to me, I wouldn't say Sony. The way I've seen it, and again, I am a bit of a PlayStation fanboy and a PlayStation shill, so excuse the, what would you say, the. I'm not going to be overly, or I'm probably going to be biased in this, but I like the idea that someone stepped in to up the community and pump money in and be like, hey, we're big fans of the
big time.
community.
And then that's why I'm conflicted about it, because despite like the fact that one platform owns this thing, and I always thought that was kind of like favoritism, Sony wasn't, like, they didn't really fuck that up. Like, they were still doing good by like the actual true nature of what this tournament was supposed to be, and it was just about fighting games. And they started cranking money. Like they got Token Souls or whatever coming out. Like,
and they built their own fighting pad and stuff like that.
Yeah, they got their own arcade stick coming out. They seem to be actually like serious about the FGC, which I came around eventually. It's like I don't actually care that Sony owns this anymore.
Yeah, I mean, if they had owned it and I didn't see any sort of like acceleration or growth, I would have been like, oh, this sounds like maybe just a way to. But it seems like they're really kind of putting it up there on the pedestal, which I'm very much appreciative of. And I doubt, I mean, in terms of if you want to make money, the idea of more, because I don't think there's any Xbox. The only exclusive fighting games that I can think of that wouldn't be able to get into this, that wouldn't be in it anyway, would be Nintendo's, like Smash Brothers, like. Outside of that, I don't think any fighting game is exclusive.
Well, no, like the reason, like that's the other thing too, is I don't even think Sony's the bad guy here.
No,
Nintendo, like Smash Bros. Isn't in there because Nintendo are the fucking dickheads.
Yeah,
like,
and Smash Bros. Has never been a part of that, which is such a pity because
Smash Bros. Is definitely a part of it.
Like 10?
Melee was huge.
Well, yeah, Melee, but like how many years ago were we talking Melee was now? Like,
oh god, 18? it got pulled out of Evo while I was living in Ireland.
Really? That recent?
Yeah. Luke, I think you followed the Melee circuit a lot more than I did. But when
Sorry, guys. I was looking up flights to Nice.
Oh, really?
We're looking at about €510 for accommodation, flights, and tickets for the event.
Okay.
When did Evo stop hosting Smash tournaments?
Give me
that was recent,
3
right?
seconds. One.
That was like 5 or 6 years ago, I think.
Because I just looked it up.
I in my head, I think it's been longer since Smash Bros. Has ever been.
2018.
Okay.
2018. Okay.
And that's all to do with Nintendo. That's nothing to do with Evo.
Nothing to do with Evo.
Evo wants it there, but Nintendo do not. So I think.
So yeah, like long after, Melee's release date, I suppose.
Yeah.
But also before Ultimate. Because they probably would have updated it to Ultimate.
Yeah, and I think, with all it would have been just such great publicity for so many games as well. Like, you think of all the characters that are in Smash Brothers across so many franchises, just would have been just great publicity for everything
crazy.
involved. Like, yeah.
This year, like, and they have nothing against, like, because, they play Rivals of Ether this year, the new one, Rivals Ether 2, and I think Brawlhalla was in it too. Like, they're not opposed to platform fighters. It's just Nintendo are fucking dickheads about
They just don't like them.
Evo 2019 was the last time Smash was there.
That's way more recent than I thought. Actually, yeah, fair enough.
And 2019, yeah.
Fair enough.
But yeah,
because I think we had that conversation when it happened. I was living in Ireland, I think.
Yeah,
so it's 2019. Yeah,
€510. Get your flights, your accommodation, your 3-day pass to the event. And then a couple extra quid for food. It's a month and 2 weeks.
So tempting.
It's a month and 2 weeks, though?
Yeah, from now. It's in October.
Yes.
The middle of October.
God, I'm just buying a house, too. Like, it'd be tough. Peace out, Neve. Have fun moving.
Yeah. I'm off to play fighting games with my bros.
Yeah.
I'm off to watch people play fighting games.
Fighting around the world.
We'll go to our last the news item today before we finish up. And this one is coming from the gamer by Vaspanda Store. It is Elden Ring Tarnished Edition. Runs so badly on Switch 2.
Shocker.
That Bandai Namco isn't allowing recording at Gamescom.
Oh God, there's. Hold on. There's.
Elden Ring
Didn't
Tarnished.
we have an argument about like Monster Hunter Wilds not running on Steam Deck, and it's like dead tech already?
Yeah,
Here we
the
go.
Switch 2 can't run Elden Ring.
Yeah, fucking hell. Elden Ring Tarnished Edition is undoubtedly one of the most anticipated third-party games coming to the Nintendo Switch 2. From Software has clearly shown its support for the console, as it's also working on an exclusive called the Duskbloods for the console. However, it's been a while, and we've heard little to nothing about either of the two. It seems Elden Ring Tarnished Edition has shown up at Gamescom 2025, with only a select few being allowed to check it out. Unfortunately, the Tarnished Edition isn't quite getting the same praise that the base game got. It reportedly suffers from major performance issues on the Nintendo Switch 2. As reported by Nintendo Life, who were among the few to try out the game, Elden Ring Tarnished Edition doesn't run quite as well on the Switch 2 as other AAA third-party titles like Cyberpunk 2020 or 2077.
That is actually shocking because I think Cyberpunk.
You should take a lot more to
Well,
run.
no, I
in
bet
theory.
you. CD Projekt Red put more effort into actually optimizing it for the Switch.
Optimizing it for just low
Yeah,
performance.
I don't think From
machines.
Software gave
And-
a
and-
fuck
and-
about the Switch. They're just like, yeah, you guys make it work.
CD
I don't know.
Projekt Red had to do a lot of work to make Cyberpunk work on a lot of things when
Yeah.
it first released.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, you know,
That's true.
they'd probably done the grunt of the work. You think that if the console could run CD Projekt Red's RPG, Elden Ring wouldn't be a problem. Apparently, that's not the case. Quote, "It's really bad. And I understand why they don't want you to see this because wowie zowie, it is terrible," said Nintendo Life's Felix Sanchez via Kotaku. He continues, "Of course, you're never going to see the light of this. Maybe it will just release in that state, but I can't imagine they will do that. It was like playing Ocarina of Time. It was like 20 frames per second. Sometimes I was like, this has dropped to 15 frames per second. This isn't something you'd expect from software."
I played Final Fantasy VIII recently.
Yeah.
And like the fights, like I remember like liking the game, but like the frame rate.
But
the
Chris,
frame rate,
Chris,
man.
Chris, that's forgivable. That game's 1998.
It's not that forgivable because you can go back like to the Super Nintendo and those games still play fucking fine.
What were you playing it on?
The computer. It's just like it was built around this
remaster?
frame rate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, it's not a game you need like mad reactions for.
That's true.
But it's
Imagine, all right, okay.
it's insufferable.
What's going to be more insufferable, right? Final Fantasy VIII in 15 frames per second, or Elden
True.
Ring
No,
Tarnished Edition
my
in 15 frames per
complaint
second?
is like I played 15 frames game recently, and I was just like, oh, I
It's
used to do
diabolical.
this like full time. This is what we had to do. And
Yeah.
it's,
We don't wanna
it's
do that
unbearable.
anymore.
Yeah.
Spoiled now.
Yeah.
So to finish, this isn't something you'd expect from Software, especially given how well received Elden Ring has been and how much the time the devs had to work on the port. It's clearly not a case of the Switch 2's capabilities, as Cyberpunk 2077 has demonstrated. It looks like we're going to be waiting a while longer for the Tarnished Edition, as Bandai Namco wasn't even allowing testers to capture footage. Sanchez revealed that the game felt unstable. Oh man, yeah. Sanchez revealed that the game felt unstable even in relatively closed-off areas like caves and rooms, and despite there being only a few other characters on screen. I like how this has been called the Tarnished Edition.
This is the fucked up edition.
Yeah.
That's sure.
Well apt.
Is the Tarnished Edition just with the DLC in it, or do you know, Chris?
No, Tarnished Edition I think was just the name given to the Switch 2 version.
Oh, really?
And one of their directs.
No. It would because all those like it's cross-platform, so all those players are going to be. Tarnished Edition does include the DLC.
Oh, okay.
That's
Excuse me.
absolutely
Damn, I
right.
thought it was going to
Yeah.
be a Switch 2 thing.
No, because all those players will still be online with the rest of the world.
That makes me worried for Duskbloods. I'm a little bit.
I don't. No.
I'm not
There's a
worried
difference
for
between
Duskbloods.
trying. Yeah, From Software will fucking nail it. Like if they build with this hardware in mind, like they won't fail. This is just a shitty port.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
From Software are notorious for just like not giving a fuck about ports. Like they just don't
Yeah.
care that much.
It's another one of those cases of like all console gaming is built around this idea that the console has an engine that it has to use, and people have to adapt their games for that. So if you're doing a port, that's like so many rings to have to jump through. But if you're building it specifically for the console, it's probably going to run great.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah,
Fingers crossed.
Dustbloods is going to be game of the year. I'm telling you right
Yeah?
now. Yeah, 2026 game of the year. Dustbloods.
26.
Well, against GTA 6.
Yeah.
All right, Chris has really gone mad.
see.
He's completely broken from last night.
I've seen rumors that GTA 6 might be a 2027 release at this point. So
Fucking nonsense.
Yeah, I wouldn't be overly surprised. I'm glad I'm not like really
2027
on the
is
edge
a
of my
yeah,
seat
yeah.
anticipating
bit
it.
extreme though, because they've already announced it. And like they're just like, oh, they felt confident enough to tell us a release date already. Like,
yeah, but the problem with them and Rockstar is Rockstar got such a bad rep from crunching with Red Dead Redemption that they've really got to avoid that. So I think they've got no other option from a PR perspective other than to constantly delay their game until it's ready. They can't force people to work to make it arrive anymore because they got such a bad rep from Red Dead. Yeah, gentlemen, that's all the news we have. Myself, Luke, and Chris will be hopping onto a post show where we're going to talk about the Nintendo Switch 1, Battlefield 6, and Super Smash Brothers. Yeah, those are our post-show things. So if you want to hear what we're talking about and why we're talking about those things, check out our Patreon at patreon.com/thegiftofgaming. For less than the price of a coffee a month, there's a buttload of content there. There's so many things. For coffee, you could listen to us for hours.
Oh, you're hurting my brain, Darren. Oh, my God. It's all hungover.
You can check out our YouTube at youtube.com/@giftofgaming for all of go for it.
Do we just do the splash screen of our like logo?
Yeah. It's got little it's cute. It's got little audio things that go up and down depending on how loud we're speaking on the videos. Yeah.
Visualize.
Technology is wild,
right? That's it though. I was trying to get little I was going to try and get someone to make like little animated pixel versions of whoever was talking, like heads or whatever of like the three people talking on each episode. Foodies. But that would have only delayed me ever getting around to YouTube, and it's taken me 3 years, so I didn't want to delay myself any further. Actually, getting on that train,
very fair,
so we're here now.
Yeah, how's that Instagram account coming?
It exists online, but it's kind of not. I
didn't even know it existed.
Chris, I'm trying my best. I'm a one-man machine, okay? I'm trying my best here. Also, by the way, guys, because I need to fix up the order of things as I've released them, because in the first year I didn't label the episodes properly in terms of the number. This is our 120th episode of the Gift of Gaming podcast today.
Woo.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Oh, yeah, that's because so like actual like 100.
This is because
not just like because it is kind of ordered fucked up on Spotify where it's like episode 8 of the news.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I have to go back and rejig that, but I spent a bit of time. This is when the water spilt over my Mac. But I spent a bit of time figuring out what the true episodes were, and I'm going to go back and re-edit them and relist them on Spotify. So
what was episode 100?
I can tell you that now. Episode 100 was the big 3 in 2024. So myself,
it's a good topic.
Yeah, it was. We never made a big thing of it because I thought that was actually like episode 80 something at the time. I think it would have been
disappointing.
Yeah. We'll do. Yeah, maybe we should go back and do something big for that. I don't know. But yeah, we're 120.
Shoehorn is like 100.
Yeah. I'll edit loads of like horrible noise effects over that episode. But listeners, if you want to check out our Patreon, go for it. That's what we're about to go over to now for our post show. Luke, thank you so much for hopping on, and Chris, thank you so much for hopping on. Considering how your morning's been, it's been great to have you guys both on the show. And to our listeners, as always and forever, keep enjoying the gift that is gaming. Peace.